Oh, baby, let the bad times roll on a stripper pole. Oh. Hey guys, I'm Chris Norwood, and I'm on a journey to hear every song ever recorded. If that sounds like something that's interesting to you, the viewer, please hit that subscribe button, that notification bell, comment on what you think about this new Offspring record, and I'm going to be doing a lot more Offspring videos, so keep that in mind as you hit that subscribe button. This is a review of the brand new Offspring record, Let the Bad Times Roll. Now, for your context of how to take my review, I'm going to give you guys my kind of taste in the Offspring's discography. Now, I've been a huge fan of the Offspring since 1998 or so, around the Americana era. And I pretty much like their entire discography. There's not really an Offspring album that I hate. They are currently in my ranking system of my favorite 230 artists, which is growing, by the way. The Offspring are kind of neck and neck with Weezer between that 17th and 18th spot, I believe. Now, Weezer have a whole bunch of albums coming out soon, and Offspring just have released Let the Bad Times Roll, which is their first record in nearly a decade. So, let's get into this new Offspring record. Now, this is April 13th, 2021, 6:02 p.m. I did get to hear the album pretty early, not because I'm a big-time YouTube mastermind, not because Dexter sent it to me in email, but one of the good folks over at Green Day Authority hooked me up. I am terrible at finding leaks. I can't find them. I just have water, like I could drown. I can't find leaks anywhere. Where was I? I was saying my least favorite is Conspiracy of One, and my most favorite would be Americana. If you want more in depth on that, check out my video of ranking the studio albums by the Offspring. Although I've got to say that's one of my earlier kind of really rough videos. I know I'm still rough on YouTube, but yeah, I need to reshoot my the Offspring ranking the studio albums. But yeah, Conspiracy of One, I'm not digging that one a lot. All the other ones, I pretty much love all of the other parts of their discography. I love the poppy stuff and I love the punky stuff. So I think I'm pretty qualified to review this new Offspring. The album kicks off with a completely fresh song, and we'll get more on that later about what's fresh and what's not. More on that later in the video. This Is Not Utopia kicks things off with, to me, a very Splinter, and the sounds of Splinter blended with generic rock. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it just doesn't have a lot of the Offspring characteristics that we're used to out of their other albums, their other 9 albums. And it's bordering on mediocre, and in my mind it was not the best way to introduce this album. I felt like the title track would have just been, it's the title track. Or even some of the later tracks in the track listing would have been a better opener. I like it, but I'm not completely sold on This Is Not Utopia. I still think that this is a utopia. So we're gonna go through all the songs, and we're gonna talk about what's good, what's not, and we're just jumping right into this album review. Okay, reviewing the Offsprings. This is Let the Bad Times Roll on a stripper pole. Oh, Lincoln, how does your... That's just such a catchy song, right? And You know what I really love about Let the Bad Times Roll, the title track? Across this album, Dexter Holland really kind of has tempered his voice, and he sings very calmly, and he's just very, very restrained in his vocal performance. And I want to think, and I do think that it is on purpose, that this album sounds more mature, at least in the vocals. But that's what's so good about Let the Bad Times Roll, is that at the 2-minute and 21-second mark, I believe, I'm not counting the seconds here, I am. Let the bad times roll! I can't even do it. I won't even try to sing. Well, I was trying to sing like Dexter with my headphones on earlier, and I looked over and my dog was. So yeah, my dog's not a fan. Chihuahuas like jazz though. That's the whole thing. Dogs are not punk rockers. Now, we're 3 songs in, and things really slowed down on the 3rd track, which, that's fine. You had 2 faster paced songs, and now that I'm having a chance to kind of come down with Dexter a little bit, I start to really notice that different vocal approach that Dexter is employing here on Let the Bad Times Roll, not the bedtimes. The Offspring still stay up late, even though they're kind of older men now. Man, that scream though. What I was talking about when I said things slowed down is the 3rd track, which is called Building Your Walls. And let me just make sure that I'm getting this right. Behind Your Walls. Excuse me. And while the music is slower on Behind Your Walls, I feel like this is the heaviest, at least in terms of material or songwriting, that the Offspring have shared with us in quite some time. And I feel like that this is going to be my favorite song off the record, and I don't even know what it's called. First initial reaction to the front of this record is Utopia was very underwhelming for an opener. I just felt like it didn't fit, and it was a decent song. The title track, absolutely love it. Got the Dexter Scream in there. We'll call it the Dexter Scream from here on out. And if you're a vocals nerd, well worth it to listen to the title track. So with Behind Your Walls, I'm getting a lot of Days Go By vibes. Here we are, 3 tracks in, and so far we've gotten very safe but very high quality Offspring songs. That's what I'm getting this early into the record. Let's just keep moving on. Army of One is the next one, and I was hoping that it was going to be a tipping point in the right direction for this record. But kind of like the opener, it just kind of feels like generic rock and roll, and kind of inoffensive and bland in spots. And it's not bad at all. It's just, and this is my first initial listen. I've kind of, went through a few times, but I haven't, had time to live with these songs yet. And sometimes, maybe I'll get it wrong. But, just on first listen, the opener, This Is Not Utopia, and Army of One, just not doing it for me musically or vocally. Breaking These Bones is getting back on track, in my opinion. And I'm definitely going to need more time with the entire record. Breaking These Bones is kind of a standard rock and roll tune, but more in line with what I expect to hear from the Offspring. Coming For You is one that we've lived with for 5 or 6 years. 2015 with the clown video, and it just that's part of my issue with this record, is that these songs do not sound like they go together, because Coming For You just sounds like something from 2015, right? And it's just, it blows all these other songs away because it's Coming For You. And maybe it's just familiarity, whatever that word is. But I danced around in my undies to this one. Imagined I was wearing clown makeup, and it was, very disturbing, but one heck of a pop punk anthem, if I do say so myself. Again, this is where I kind of felt like the album's just not quite fitting together, because you can almost hear that these songs were recorded in different time periods. Coming For You was recorded back in the Wild Wild West, and everything else was recorded yesterday or something. And then some other songs were recorded in 17 and 18, 19, 20, 2013. But yeah, Coming For You, I've always loved that track ever since it came out. And I've been waiting for this record ever since Coming For You came out. Gosh darn it, Offspring. The next track is a goofy track. We Never Have Bleep Anymore. Oh man. And the instrumentation on this song sounds like Donkey Kong Country, which is a compliment, kind of. It's very silly, and I like it. I wonder how Dexter's wife feels about this song, and I hope they correct their situation. If you like Why Don't We Get a Job or Pretty Fly for a Guy, this might make you happy. If you're a purist, well, let's be honest. If you're a punk rock purist, you're not watching this video. I'm not pointing to you. If you are a punk rock purist and you're watching this video, maybe, I know you're not going to like this album, maybe listen to Hassan Chop, which we'll get to later. It's very, very punk rock, very angry, very, very nasty. Very nasty. Nastier than We Never Have Bleep Anymore. Oh, In the Hall of Mountain King is one that I was very curious about, because there's a lot of songs out there called this. Now, I do get the impression that this is an original by the Offspring, maybe inspired by the other ones. And usually when I see an instrumental or interlude or exitlude, as some bands are wanting to do, I think it's a wasted track. But not with this one. This one is actually a very, very good instrumental, and it's very guitar driven, very shredding in places, and there's several other songs like I said with this title, but I like this. I like this a lot. So I was surprised by the instrumental. I thought it was going to be a throwaway track, and it was actually pretty darn good. Pretty darn good. The Opioid Diaries. This is a highlight here, people, along with Behind Your Walls, or Build Your Walls, or Behind Your Balls. The Opioid Diaries, formerly known as It Won't Get Better, is a song they've been playing for years and years on the stage, teasing it for the new album that was never going to come, and now here we are. Now we're here. I love this one. The Opioid Diaries, very strong, very fast-paced. It's one of the strongest entries here. If you like Americana-era Offspring, like I do, you'll like this one. It's very Americana-era. It's like the serious songs off Americana. And this is a track for my fellow Offspring fans. You guys are going to love this one. Everybody's going to love this one, the Opioid Diaries. I hope that one's released as a single. Whew, man, that one just got me pumped up. Let's keep going, Offspring fan of mine. Chop! Is that a Noodles vocal at the beginning of the song? I think it is. A Noodles vocal. Now, it's a spoken thing, and I know he's doing a lot of the backing vocal. I think he's doing backing vocals as well. Ooh. calm down. Hassan Chop! Now, Hassan Chop is kind of like a slang term. It's very, very interesting phenomenon that's been known to happen to people. You might want to look it up on urbandictionary.com. I was not familiar with this phenomenon, but it's a phenomenon. And get this, you punk rockers, you punk rock purists, yeah, you listen to Hassan Chop. Ignore everything else, particularly We Never Have Bleep anymore, because you will not like that one. But you punk rock purist will like Hassan Chop. Very fast-paced, very much a self-titled almost Offspring era. Or at least, Smash maybe. It could fit on Smash relatively easily. Man, we're going through this fast. This is a very short, fast album, kind of like Green Day's Father of All Foam. Oh, snap! Do you like punk rock? Do you like the underside of a desk? Let's move on. Now we arrive at the new version of Gone Away. I believe in some places I've seen it referred to as Gone Away Requiem. And the gorgeous pianos and strings immediately brought me to tears on my first listen. Instantly. Maybe more out of memory of the song and the power of that song, the meaning of that song. The only thing that pulled me out of that emotion is that Dexter's vocals are auto-tuned. And it really, really takes away from it. If it were just him singing over these strings and this piano part, this would be a masterpiece. But instead, his gone away, now that you go away, it's still beautiful, and I had to listen to it twice. I may have listened to it 3 times. I couldn't decide if I liked it or not, even though I just kept having to listen to it. And finally, on the second or third listen, I was like, okay, I'm playing this song multiple times, and I didn't do that with other songs initially. So this one's good. This one's very, very good. So I listened to it over and over and over, 2 or 3 times. And, Dexter Holland does not need to be auto-tuned. I do not understand why. He's got one of the most powerful voices in rock and roll. Why is it auto-tuned? And maybe in time I'll learn to kind of accept it and it'll grow on me. But it's such a good song. And it was such a good reworking of it, except for that. Why? The auto-tune. Death of auto-tune. Jay-Z, It's done. Done. But again, still great, just on the strength alone of the tune. Now, why did they include it here? It doesn't really seem to fit the rest of the album. Kind of sporadic. Like there's no theme at all to these songs. They're just, that's one of, and it doesn't have to be a concept album, but these it's 12 songs, and I think that's kind of, maybe that's where they're trying to head, is just trying to do singles instead of albums. I don't know. But Gone Away, just a really weird, just kind of a standalone song towards the end of the record. And speaking of the end of the record, now I'd heard about Lullaby being a reprise. How do you say it? Who knows? Nobody knows. I don't know. It's a reprise. Lullaby. It's a reprise of the title track, Let the Bad Times Roll. but it sounds like it's just a throwaway track. It's like the chorus of the title track if it were recorded in a swimming pool. And that's it. Then the album's over. Why was that there? I don't know. Why wasn't that at the beginning of the album? Or why wasn't it attached to the title track? It's filler. It's complete filler, and that's not a good way to end your album, in my opinion. But as I listened to it, I was like, hey, this kind of sounds like they were trying to do something really experimental, and maybe there's a piano or a different version of the title track that maybe we'll hear later on. I was kind of thinking maybe like a really wild offshoot, like a completely different kind of music for the Offspring. Maybe having them doing some kind of just like wild experimental record, which kind of like the back side of this record leaves me with that feeling like they were pushing boundaries a little further in some places than they usually do. And it found me as we got towards the back end of the record. That's what I wanted. Like, I kind of wanted them to be brave and experimental and really weird, or really lean into the piano and the orchestra and stuff that's worked so well for Weezer on OK Human. That would be really cool from the Offspring. The album kind of starts off with a lot of standard rockers, and then with We Never Have Bleep Anymore, it veers off course and kind of just zigzags all over the place. And I prefer the veering at the end than the standard rockers. I gotta say that. The weird and the heavy Offspring are amazing. I'd really be amazed. I'm really being amazed by this heavier stuff, particularly Behind Your Walls. We all like to compare old and new, right? Like we always, when an album comes out, we say, oh, they tried to sound like this, or it does sound like this, it doesn't sound like that. And if I had to do that, which I guess I'm going to make myself do it, I would say it sounds very much like their last album, Days Gone By, with blended with Americana, which I'm sure was done on purpose, because they know that Americana is kind of their big album. They've had a lot of big albums, but I'd say that they did it on purpose, I believe. And little bits of their earlier stuff thrown in there, little bits of echoes and Patience and Grace and Stuff Is Messed Up. If you're only a pre-Smash era Offspring fan, let's be honest, you're not watching me. You're not watching this video, right? But if you are, give Hassan Chop a listen. That's going to be the only one you hardcore guys like. So subscribe and then go and listen to Hassan Chop and go on with your bad punk self. Punk rock, pop punk, smiley face. The delay of the album, I feel like kind of hurts. It hurt my reaction to it because there's a build-up. There's a build-up and there's an expectation that Dexter and Noodles and company have been working on this for 10 years, and this is what we get. There's going to be more haters than usual in this era, and I've got to admit it's hard not to feel that way. But as I get deeper and deeper into my listens, I'm going to give it a few more listens after I finish this video. I'm pretty happy with what they've delivered here. And are there throwaway tracks? Yes. Are there things I don't like? Yes. Don't even bother to listen past Gone Away, Redux, Requiem, whatever it is, unless you like listening to the track and thought, hey, I wish they would have recorded this underwater and made it only a minute long. But I'm sure you're out there. Maybe you're watching too. Maybe you're one of my 90 subscribers. 92 now, I think. I'm really trying to think about my rating of this record. I'm really thinking. I've already made it, but I'm thinking about changing it here on camera, live. Dexter's Rockstar Swimming Pool is in my notes about recording Lullaby. Like I said, that should have built to something bigger, like a 10-minute song. Green Day fans, yeah. Imagine the Offspring's Jesus of Suburbia. Ooh, yeah. Oh. There are some combos of some Rise and Fall songs with American Idiot guitars, and they sound identical. That was pretty funny. You should check that out on YouTube after subscribing to me. But here we are. So we're at the end of my album review. I hope you've enjoyed it. And we're going to give some little notes here. Just really quick, we're going to do some weakest tracks and strongest tracks. And then I'm going to give you, there's not anybody else here, I am going to give you my rating of this album. Overall, I would say Army of One is definitely my least favorite song. Overall. It's just for some reason, I just don't, the lyrics are kind of meh, and the music's kind of no. I gotta look up the lyrics and maybe I'll like it more, but it's just kind of bleh. And then the strongest track for me is going to be Behind Your Walls. Behind Your Walls. Really, really great. I got to listen to that again. Really loving that one. Absolutely love that one. Title track's really good too. Coming For You. But Behind Your Walls is my big, that's the one I recommend. Unless you're a hardcore, punk rock guy back there, I think, Behind Your Walls, absolutely killer Offspring, the Offspring song. Overall, I am giving Let the Bad Times Roll 1, 2, 3 Hassan chops out of 5 Hassan chops. That's right, people. Offspring fans, Green Day fans, Plus 44 and Against Me fans, I'm giving Let the Bad Times Roll 3 Hassan chops out of 5 Hassan chops. 3 out of 5. That's what I'm giving this record. I wanted to go higher, and then I wanted to go lower, depending on where I was at in the album. It was almost, I'd say I almost, if it would have, I'm saying 3 out of 5. I gotta give it a solid 3 out of 5. It couldn't be higher because some of the weaker stuff was just weak, and I love the Offspring. I love the Offspring, and I don't think they've put out a terrible album. Even Conspiracy of One, which is my least favorite, I can listen to it today, and it's good. So I gotta think a bit some more before I redo my Offspring ranking the studio albums. But please hit the notification bell and subscribe for that, because I'm going to be doing a brand new album ranking. The Offspring are going to be the first redo that I'm redo. I think I even forgot some albums when I did it the first time. So please stick around for that. Let me know in the comments if you guys hated it or loved it. But until then, oh, subscriber, let the bad times roll on a stripper pole. Licking out his Joe Craig roll, Machiavelli flow. This is too much like the original song. I'm gonna get a copyright strike all night long. Catchy. That song is so catchy. Anyway, you guys, go listen to it. If you can't get a hold of it now, I understand. I was blessed to get it early. If you can't get it early, check it out. It's out in 3 days, right? So check it out and let me know what you think. I am very, very likely going to buy this on physical media. So that kind of tells you right there how I feel about it. It may grow on me. So at least a 3 out of 5 Hassan chops. And I hope that it will grow into like one of my favorite Offspring records. It definitely has potential. I don't think it's going to ever be a perfect record for me just because Lullaby kind of ticked me off. It's just a waste. And like I said, the opening track's not really that great. Army of One is the weakest. But everything else is pretty solid, the Offspring material. If you've been a fan, for any period of time, and like I said, if you're not that hardcore punk rock guy, I think you might like this. I think you'll at least find something that you'll enjoy. Like I said, there's kind of a mixture of different eras. I do wish that this era kind of had its own sound, and some of the tracks do. But yeah, I like it. So goodbye, new subscribers. Goodbye, old subscribers. Goodbye, random people from outside of YouTube that end up on YouTube somehow. Let the bad times roll. Oh, I'm gone away.